Thanks for staying with us. According to a Moneyweb report, there's been a significant reduction in disruption of construction projects by the so-called Construction Mafia. It comes after 5 years of violence where a number of construction sites were vandalized. For more on this, we are joined by South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors, Webster Mfebe. Good morning, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Really interesting information coming out of this looking at some of the written content around this topic. My first question would be, how do construction site disruptions happen?
They happen because they are in two ways. Communities, they claim to be part of the construction projects that happen within a particular locality. Because they want to be part of the economic cake that must be shared equally by all. But also, you also have community business forums, some of them not well-meaning, some of them well-meaning, and the bad ones are those that are not well-meaning, that go on site, guns blazing, demanding their 30% share. If you disagree with them, there are consequences. For example, in 2016, a black contractor who could not agree with them was gunned down and he died. Until now, as far as I know, there's no closure for that family in that regard. So they use extortionate methods. If you don't want to allow them in, they would say then, okay, give us 30% of the total amount of the project, and then we walk away, or we are part of it. And that is done through the use of violence, threats, and unfortunately some of our members get, and in fact not only our members, some of the construction industry players, we are told that they do pay these bribes, and that unfortunately encourages this kind of behavior. But what is also shocking is that when police are called and cases are reported, it is also alleged that some of the police officers are in cahoots with these members. They would arrive on site, talk to these guys, shake hands or hug and go away, and nothing happens. But since then, we've escalated this matter to the National Prosecuting Authority and the National Police Commissioner's Office. And a serious decision was taken at the NPA meeting with us that this will be dealt with in terms of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, which is known as POCA. And also the police adopted a similar stance. And we've had meetings which culminated in a draft MOU, which is sitting at the Police Commissioner's Office now. As you are aware, there's a change of guard in the police, and we would engage with the new National Police Officer. But what's important is that the President has expressed himself on numerous occasions condemning these acts of violence on construction sites. And in the last SONA, he announced the setting up of a special unit that would deal with that. And indeed, to show that the President is serious, I was contacted by the Minister in the Presidency who wanted an update on construction on-site disruptions. And we are awaiting their response in regard thereto. And something is happening. And also the police had, in fact, even during our interaction, appointed high-ranking senior police officers to deal with these matters. But if I can report, which has contributed to the decline, is our attempt to constructively engage with communities and business forums. And as a result, we have seen a significant drop in the violation of sites since 2018, where we collated this data over a 5-year period, where 51.1 billion sites, 404 of them have been disrupted. But there's a market decline, and which proves that our construction and constructive engagement strategy works I have argued, and I still say that those who believe that the police or the army would solve these problems, it cannot be solved. The police and the army cannot solve socio-economic problems, a lack of access to social justice. We, as the construction and other businesses, need to play our role and assist the process and genuinely engage with communities and give them opportunities to participate.
If you'll allow me, Mr. Mfebe, just to get perhaps some detail around what the start of 2022 has presented. I mean, you speak about the decline, you speak about ending 5 years of violence within the industry, but as you monitor the trend and look at what's happened in 2022, what are you observing?
Well, I would say it's still early days in 2022 because 8 sites have been reported amounting to 207 million compared to 204 sites to the tune of 17.8 billion in 2019, at the height of which about 110 technical and engineering skills left the country as a result of this. Of course, it's still early days in 2022, and also it depends on the extent to which companies report these incidents. We can only talk about reported incidents. Those who are keeping quiet or quietly paying bribes are just defeating the whole purpose of trying to arrest this phenomenon.
What do you think are some of the formalities that perhaps need to be adopted to regularize the sector, to ensure that, you say it's still early days, but also to ensure that all parties are able to get a piece of the pie?
Well, as I've indicated, through the constructive engagement that we were talking about, for an example, for the South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors, we talk to our members to genuinely engage with communities, give local enterprises an opportunity, and also engaging them, which is the role we as SAFSEC played with aplomb, to dissuade them from unorthodox methods of violence. And they have since regularized themselves into a legal entity, and now there is an overall structure which is called the Black Business Federation, which is operating within the law. Whenever there are disruptions, we call on these young men who are very bright, agile, articulate, and energetic, and they would stop those. And in fact, if you would ask what successes have been achieved in this regard, one, the indication of the decline in the incidents. Secondly, the fact that we have been telling them that not only the owners of business forum, but the communities must benefit. For example, in KZN, there is a mall in which the community have equity in that mall, and community representatives are members of the trustees sitting in that mall. And these young men and women are the ones who are helping us to arrest this phenomenon. And if we engage constructively and give people opportunities, not throw the law book at them, also throw the book of opportunities by the examples that I have just mentioned.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time there, speaking to a rather important topic around the construction mafia, seeing some sort of reduction in the number of attacks, especially just monitoring the 5-year period. South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors, Webster Mfebe.